Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is Tuesday, which means we've got good, positive news for you today to give you hope back in humanity again and tell you about all the great stuff that humans and animals have been able to achieve. This is the first and only international game show, Before Coffee, a father and daughter podcast where we look up our stories right before we started. We've just got caffeine in our bodies and we're learning to speak and read live on stream. Let's read out those positive headlines and roll that segue wheel. Today on Good Tues News Day. We can prevent extinction. Bermuda celebrates the triumphant return of an extinct button-sized snail, and exclusive from South Korea's fertility rate rebounds to 0.85 in the first half, more like the first month of the year, but yeah, first half.
Right. At the fiscal year, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's probably not. And good news for Good Tues News Day for the United States. Lab-grown algae remove microplastics from water. Yay! Algae and an extinct snail is no longer extinct. How'd that happen?
Benjamin Carl's viral celebration at the Winter Olympics explained. And Barbara Harris, one of the first women ordained as an Anglican bishop, for my Black History Month story.
And live from London, it's Saturday night. Yeah, that's right. The UK is going to give a shot at the legendary live comedy series. Plus, we have Africa records new highs and new acceleration and solar power.
In my culture news, how a decades-old video game has helped Michael Roberts defeat the Doom Scroll. And maybe you can also use it to help defeat the Doom Scroll.
Perhaps. And it's National Flannel Day. That's right. I might even qualify with this shirt. I don't know if it's technically
I'm wearing a flannel too, and I didn't even know.
Yeah, National Flannel Day, February 10th, 2026 on Before Coffee.
I was just feeling tired today, so I just wore a flannel for that, the sake of that. But I had no idea it was flannel day. Flannel is the best clothes. You just put it on, you're warm, and basically you're telling everyone I don't give a fuck. That's what I think when I see somebody in a flannel. It's like, I don't care. I put clothes on. Okay, you should be happy. I'm wearing anything.
I just put on my Southwestern United States motif shirt and went at it. I don't even know if it's considered flannel, like I said. I think it has to be a little bit more, what's the word?
I think it has to be the checkered pattern, and it has to be buttoned up.
Fluffy on the outside.
I think it has to be buttoned up.
Shirts that are, I don't think it has to be I don't think it has to be plaid. I don't think it has to be checkered.
You don't? Okay.
It has to be made of a certain shirt. Yeah. Yeah, my flannel shirts, I guess, are in the wash, except for this one. See any hanging? There's one. Oh, well. I ain't gonna change shirts in the middle of the show.
I think it's the buttoning. I guess as long as it's buttoned up, I think that's the most important part. You have to button up in front.
It looks flannel. I think it's flannel. I think it qualifies.
Whatever.
Flannel's a funny
I'm not
word.
making them. I'm not a fashion dictator. I don't care. Let's roll the second.
I need to remember that. It's a great word in Scrabble if you can get all those letters. Flannel. 2 L's, 2 N's.
Great word for Scrabble.
Mine's on that stupid game
that
for some
pun
reason.
is our first segue for my stories. I've got 2 stories in this.
What'd I get? Sorry, I gotta get my notepad.
Pun.
Bad pun. Where's my notepad? There she is.
The first story is coming out of Bermuda and the UK, where they have returned a button-sized snail from extinction. This is from Rachel Funnell on IFL Science. Chester Zoo in the UK has announced that it has received a scientific confirmation that an extinct snail has been saved, thanks to the efforts of an international team of conservationists. The Bermuda snail, Pociolozonites, Bermudanus was bred in captivity with over 100,000 snails being released into the wild, and they're now officially established in 6 areas of their native home. The rest of this, the conservation success stories of this scale might not come around often, but it just goes to show the efforts to reverse biodiversity loss do work. What better news than today on February 10th, aka the IUCN's Reverse the Red Day, marking the global movement to undo biodiversity loss. The Bermuda snail was thought to have been lost forever not long ago. Then a small glimmer of hope appeared in the most unexpected of places, an alley near an air conditioning unit. Ah, the good old air conditioning water trail. Snails love that. Here, a tiny population of these incredibly rare snails was clinging on to existence, feeding off the machine's water drops, a glittering example of life's ability to endure. But if the snails were going to bounce back from their near extinction, they were going to need a little help. The Bermuda government teamed up with Chester Zoo, gifting their scientists and keepers several snails to see if a population could be bred off-site before being released into the wild. The snails were bred in specially designed pods, and then in tandem with nature regeneration projects carried out by the Bermuda government, it was time to prepare for their return. The snails were screened for parasites and nematodes to ensure they weren't carrying any unwanted baggage. They were also fattened up to ensure they were fighting fit by the time they were released in several reintroduction sites across Bermuda. Each snail was also given the parting gift of a marking indicator so that scientists could continue to monitor them. All good so far, but then there was the issue of the Bermuda snail's greatest foe, the rosy wolf snail. Damn you, wolf snail! We handpicked the best areas to release the snails, areas with the best cover and vegetation and the most hiding spaces that the snails could go into, said ectotherm keeper at Chester Zoo, Katie Kelton, to IFL Science. But we also needed to make sure that the rosy wolf snail wasn't in the area. That's been one of the biggest problems that the Bermuda snail has been facing, as the rosy wolf snail will predate and eat them. Damn you, wolf snails. Oh, they are small little snails, and they do look like buttons. They actually look like buttons. The prep, it seems, has only paid off, as the snails are now firmly established in the 6 areas. They weren't the only sites chosen for their reintroductions, but it's shown where they're able to thrive. It marks an incredible moment, as not often we get to say that a species has been saved from extinction. A rare, tangible example that proves efforts to reverse biodiversity loss can work, and the power of international collaboration. It's every conservationist's dream to help save a whole species, and that's exactly what we've done, said Thomas Popp, Invertebrates Assistant Team Manager at Chester Zoo, in a released email to IFL Science. The great Bermuda snail is tiny, but this is one of the biggest success stories in conservation. The scientific confirmation that we've saved them is testament to the role zoos can play in preventing extinction and in the power of collaboration, and is something everyone involved will carry in their heart. A successful mission to save a tiny snail, but the mission to save an absolutely massive one continues. And then they linked me to another story. What are they massively trying to save? Oh, they're trying to save a really big snail that can eat earthworms. Oh god, it's huge! That's the size of my hand! But that's in New Zealand. So, don't worry, the freakish monstrous snails aren't anywhere in Bermuda. They're in New Zealand, you know, as you expect. All the scary animals are in Australia and New Zealand.
All right, I'm up.
You got my bad
So
pun?
I'm looking for a pun, huh? We snailed that story. Anybody that's not looking up for snails is just being shellfish. Well, it's not really shellfish, but it's in a shell. Anyway, there's this bad pun. It's a bad pun, not a good pun. By the way, I have to cancel one of my stories. Neither one of us was listening, so we ended up doing the same story, so I'm going to have to drop my story on the same thing.
I thought you were talking about solar panels.
No, I had 4 stories, and one of them was those, and I guess I wasn't listening, or you weren't listening. Either way, we ended up with the same story, so That one's gone.
Well, that's okay, because I have another story.
That'll save us some time.
And it's not about solar panels.
Okay.
It's an exclusive from Korea. So this article technically came out at the end of January. I couldn't find
funny because
I couldn't find a story about it. Like, they were talking about it, but I couldn't find an actual story about it. So the government of Korea, this is from Chosun Gwakwaigon. The government of Korea, South Korea, has confirmed that the annual total fertility rate last year was estimated at 0.79 or 2.8, with the projected rate for the first half of this year at an estimated 0.85. The total fertility rate refers to the average number of children a woman is expected to give birth to during her childbearing years, which is about 15 to 49. After dropping to 0.72 in 23, the rate rebounded to 0.75 in 24 and has continued to rise. However, given that a fertility rate of 2.1 is needed to maintain population levels, because you need to replace the parents, both of the parents, and if you can make a third child, right, you can also you can add to the population, right? Replace the parents and also add +1. But 2.1 is needed to maintain at least current population levels. The path to resolving population decline remains a long one. On the 23rd of January, according to sources familiar with the matter, the Presidential Committee on Aging Society and Population Policy, a presidential advisory body, calculated this fertility rate trend based on pregnant women statistics held by the National Health Insurance Service. The total fertility rate is officially released by the Ministry of Data and Statistics alongside population trends, with annual data up to 24, which was at 0.75, and then October of last year, which was at 0.81. The 2025 annual total fertility rate is scheduled to be announced, or it should have already been announced then.
Oh,
But I think the headline I was reading is that it is at 0.85 as of the end of January. Although the calculations differ slightly, the committee's estimated that the official figures are unlikely to differ significantly. Well, it differed a bit. It hasn't gotten to 0.9, which I guess would be a pretty significant increase. The government policies are analyzed to have significantly influenced the recent rebound in the total fertility rate. So the government's taking credit for this one. Since 24, the government has drastically expanded special loans for newborns to help families purchase or secure rental housing. It also announced a special supply program for newborns, prioritizing 30,000 public and private apartments annually for households that have had a child within 2 years. Additionally, the government revised its system in the same year to allow all income groups to receive state support for fertility treatments. Following this announcement, the number of in vitro fertilization treatments at infertility clinics nationwide increased by approximately 30%. A government official stated, "Our own survey also showed that the special supply program for newborns had a significant impact." Alongside these measures, the government significantly increased parental leave benefits for fathers. Until 23, couples who took 1 year of parental leave could receive a total of 42 million Korean won, which I need to change that into a different currency because I don't know what that means. In euros, that would be, sorry, it's supposed to be million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would be about 24,000 euros. So probably, yeah, let's just say $25,000. That's how much they made a year if they left for parental leave, which, I mean, it's more than I'm making, but probably not enough for having a kid. From 24, the maximum amount rose to 57 million won, which would be about 32. So, 32, 33. A little over $30,000 for taking a break from work to take care of your child. In line with these policies, the birth rate among those in their 30s has increased. According to the age-specific fertility rate, which supports the number of children born per 1,000 women in each age group, the rate for those aged 30 to 34 rose from 66.7% in 23 to 70.4% in 24. For those aged 35 to 39, it increased from 43 to 46 over the same period. And I'm guessing it did not increase in ages 15 to 20 or 15 to 30 or whatever. It doesn't sound like, because I feel like they would have said that if it did, right? They would have reported, and it also increased here. I don't think it increased in the... I mean, it's good that teenagers are getting pregnant, okay? You're still muted. It's good that teenagers are getting pregnant, but, you know, the young people need to have children too, I guess. I think a lot of people in my era, in my age, are waiting till their 30s to have children, so it's not surprising it's increased.
Yep. Boy, South Korea are really monitoring the hell out of their citizens, huh?
I think you can probably get these same statistics everywhere.
I just say it.
You just ask the...
It's a nationalist thing, is what it is. It seems nationalist to me. That's all it seems like.
But I think there's always people measuring this stuff.
I know they measure it. They have to measure it. But what I'm saying is, it's like official government policy to get the birth rate up. But I don't know if that's. I mean,
it was a thing in Italy for a while too. Actually, Italy had to also run a
campaign
to pay people to have children.
Here's an idea, South Korea: immigration. How about that one?
That would definitely be the quicker way to increase your population and workforce.
You don't have to put them through school, right? You don't have to raise them. They're already work ready. They just come to your country and work. Anyway, my pun. Wow, they've raised their birth rate. That's really amazingly good news, but there is room for improvement.
That's a bad time.
Now get out there and have sex, you citizens.
I think they're having sex, or just having a protected sex. No babies.
Well, I don't know, because I've seen a statistic that the newer generations are.
Sadly, I think it's harder to measure.
Yeah.
People are having sex, right? You'd have to go to love hotels and like ask people on the street, how many times you've had sex this week? It would be a poll, right? At the end of the day, it would be a poll. And people would lie because people would definitely lie. I have sex 5 times a day. Oh yeah, sure you do, Steve. Sure you do. Yeah, my wife loves me. I have sex with her all the time. Yeah, sure you.
There's a way you could ask that question without them bragging about it, instead of just directly asking them. How many times have you been intimate, you say? And I got intimate, what does that mean? You know, you touched another person without, trying to hurt them. That kind of thing. Oh, okay.
I still feel like you would lie.
Kind of stuff. Yeah.
And it's not like they would
lie.
It's not like they're lying because they think their friends are going to find out, but they're just lying because somebody's hearing them answer, right? It's just somebody's hearing them answer.
Who's going to lie more? Who's going to lie more? The people who want to think they want you to think you're sexually active, or the people who want you to think they're not sexually active? Who's going to lie more? So I think they cancel each other out. So there.
Well, to be fair, yeah, when you do data entry and stuff, you definitely make up for a margin of error.
Nobody's answering. If you're doing these questions, you're anonymous and you answer them honestly and truthfully. You don't just go ask a kid on the street with a microphone in their face. That's not the way you do it. But the stats and the data say that the younger generation are now entering their sexually active years aren't as sexually active as, say, me in 1980, whatever, They're just going, whatever.
I'm not going to give you an exact date or when you're getting laid a lot.
I
think having sex is practicing making children. I think practicing making children is actually trying to impregnate someone. I think just having having casual sex is not practice or anything.
We invented family planning in the 20th century.
Unless you have issues, right? Men don't need practice.
Yeah.
Men don't need practice.
Kids happen. Until 1962 or 61 or so, kids happened. Then the birth control pill came along.
Yeah.
And that was the end of that. Because before that, you were counting on the man for all the responsibility. He was like, huh? What?
Yeah, just, don't ejaculate. Oh, okay, I'll try my best. To be fair, condoms have existed since the Roman time. The Greek times, condoms have existed, but
My mom was pregnant 14 times between 1941 and 1962.
Yeah.
And she had 12 kids. And when the pill came out, that was it for her. There's no coincidence she stopped having kids. There's like 12 fucking kids. Imagine that. Like, you can have a football team with a backup and having a kicker on the side, All right, sorry. Let's do the
All right,
old
next
spin
segue.
and do the next deal. I only got one
Did I
story
already roll the
because
segue?
I
No,
wasn't paying
didn't.
attention.
No, I did already roll the segue. Sorry. Mixed metaphor.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna do our Saturday Night Live story first because it's the longest one. We'll do two stories. We'll do two stories first. I did that in the third segment. We're gonna talk about lab-grown algae removing microplastics from water, and that's good news because microplastics are in everything. It turns out.
Even your bloodstream.
And now, algae is our friend. Algae, again, removing carbon from the atmosphere. Just a great, great thing. And we look at algae in water and go, yuck, algae, when it's our friend.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't eat it. You don't eat your friends, do you? I don't think you do. Maybe you do. I don't. Fizz.org is Brian Casiglio, lab-grown algae. University of Missouri researcher is pioneering for an innovative solution to remove tiny bits of plastic pollution from our water. Mizzou's, that's the cute tchotchke name for the University of Missouri, Mizzou. Mizzou's Susie Dye. I'm serious. That is what they call the University of Missouri. Mizzou. M-I-Z-Z-U. I have no idea why. It's the South. Let's just say it's the South. Nobody knows how to talk down there. I mean, that's it. Mizzou's Susie. By the way, they call Missouri Missouri. If you live in Missouri, they call it Missouri. There's no A in the word, but they call it Missouri. Go figure. Go figure. Anyway, Susie Dye recently applied a revolutionary strain of algae toward capturing and removing harmful microplastics from polluted water, driven by a mission to improve the world for both wildlife and humans. Dye also complained, her name is spelled D-A-I, that's how I'm pronouncing it, Dye. Also, it may be Day. Let's say Day. Day also aims to repurpose the collected microplastics into safe bioplastic products such as composite plastic films. Films for what? Microplastics are pollutants found almost everywhere in the environment, such as ponds, lakes, rivers, with wastewater, definitely wastewater, and the fish we consume. Day, a professor at the College of Engineering and principal investigator at the Blood Life Sciences Center, said currently most wastewater treatment plants can only remove large particles of plastic, but microplastics are so small they slip through the end and end up in the drinking water, polluting the environment, harming ecosystems. In a recent study, Day used genetic engineering to create a new kind of algae that produces a volatile natural oil called limonene. The same chemical gives oranges their refreshing scent. Oranges.
I love orange smell.
Limonene makes the new algae water repellent because microplastics are also water repellent. The two come together like magnets when they meet in water, forming clumps that sink to the bottom and create a solid layer of biomass that's easy to collect and remove. Really? How big is it though?
Plastic
They sink to the bottom of the ocean? The bottom of the ocean? How are you going to collect them from the bottom of the ocean? Where a giant whale will eat them? I don't know. The special engineered algae can grow in wastewater, feeding on excess nutrients and cleaning water as it grows. By removing the microplastic, if you remove the microplastics from the wastewater, this is how it gets in our water, because the wastewater basically is made clean through evaporation mostly. And the evaporation does not get rid of plastics. By removing the microplastics, cleaning the wastewater, and eventually using the removed microplastics to create bioplastic products for good, we can tackle 3 issues with one approach. While our research is still in early stage, our eventual goal is to integrate this new process into existing wastewater treatment plants so cities can clean their water more effectively, reduce pollution, and creating useful products at the same time. Day's lab grows algae in a large tank bioreactors. Her lab has built a 100-liter bioreactor named Shrek. They gave it a name to possess industrial flue gas to help clean air pollution. Day hopes to build bigger versions of Shrek going forward, could adapt to the wastewater treatment and other pollutant removal prospects. And this, of course, there's your story. I can see the potential for this to turn into a mutant algae named Shrek that just grows the size of a city and eats everybody in sight. There's my new horror movie featuring the giant algae come to life. Yeah. I can only see science fiction in this stuff.
It really sounds like Shrek is paddling up the river.
Paddling
like no
up the
tomorrow.
river.
Like there's no tomorrow.
Okay, you did a metaphor.
Getting sold
Next
up the river.
story,
By the
we're
way,
gonna
you
do-
were asking what they meant by microfilm, and it's just like, you know, that plastic film they put over, you know, like cling film, but make it out of this biofilm instead. So it breaks down
sure,
and melts instead of, you know, getting stuck in a gutter for 300 years or something, which is what happens to a lot of that
I
film.
thought they were talking about the cellulose they print out.
Yeah,
movies
like,
on.
we're gonna
That
start
kind of stuff.
filming movies on this shit.
Because the digital age is over. I didn't know that. Anyway, next story. We're gonna go to Africa. Talk about the sun. More. We got to go to the ocean. The two biggest effects on our climate: the ocean and the sun. So here we are. ClimateChangeNews.com. Africa records fastest ever solar growth as installations jump. They didn't physically jump because that would be real. Hey, that thing is jumping over there. What the hell? No, they don't actually physically jump. The statistical quantity is jumped. Largely last year. And so we're going to get a lot of last year reports this time as everybody sums up last year's disasters.
Yeah, they finished all their data and stuff they're already collecting.
And so 2025 was their record year. Africa's solar panel installations have increased sharply, driven by utility scale projects and privately financed rooftop and commercial systems. Man, if you live in a place that has that much sun, you need to harness that shit. Because you're near the equator. A lot of Africa is equatorial. Green groups sue over EU over inclusion of Portuguese. Oh, that's a freaking headline for the next story. What am I reading the next headline for the next story? Campaigners argue. Okay, let's do this again. Let's see if this story is even a story. Hello. Africa's solar power installations, blah, 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 blah. The story's in the same category. No. Since multinational, that's other stories. Let's have this story.
Just giving headlines linked to each other. No, that happens to me too. I'll open a story and then when I go back to it, it'll be 15 headlines. And I'm like, where's the story? Where'd it go? Yeah.
Let's try this again. Okay. One more time. We're going to try it without the reading pane. Nope, it doesn't let me read it. That's okay. I can find this story again. The energy mix has the story. Nope, that's not it. Down to Earth has a story, and we're going to give somebody else credit. It's not behind the pay window. Yeah, that one put me behind the pay window. When I clicked on the reading pane, it just sampled the story like that. It's like, oh. Okay, I'm going to rip through this one. This is downtoearth.org in. Africa now leading global solar growth, and the 2026 Outlook report says this story. It says Africa is now leading the global solar growth. Good news for African History Month. The continent saw a 26% increase in installed capacity in 25, reaching 23.4 gigawatts. The African Solar Industry Association, or the AFC-SIA, said Africa is seeing the largest growth in deployment of solar or source of power in the world. The continent, which has now suffered from extreme energy poverty, recorded 26% increase in installed capacity in 25, reaching 23.4 gigawatts from 42,000 projects, according to the Africa Solar Outlook in 2026, released January 14th, and about a month ago. Africa recorded the highest year-on-year growth rate on any global region, alongside China and Middle East, and it outpaced both in relative terms, the report showed, right? They're starting from a lower quantity, so any increase is going to be a percentage exponentially more than what China started from last year, but you got to start somewhere. You don't just get to the end of your journey by just getting there. You got to start with one step. Africa has long been perceived as a marginal solar market, said John Van Zuylen, chief executive AFC.
Even though it has so much sun.
Yeah, no shit. The thing they have the most of. Oh, they got diamonds. We gotta loot their diamonds. Don't forget that. And their gold. The Africa Solar Outlook 2026 demonstrate that this perception no longer reflects reality. Solar is already far more widespread than previously believed. And now Africa is now experiencing the fastest solar growth of any region worldwide. The continent is now commanding an estimated 3% of the global solar market, he noted, as improved storage is making solar viable across 54 countries. Since 2019, AFSIA has applied a bottom-up methodology to track solar development across Africa, identifying projects individually across all segments. By the end of 2025, the association had documented more than 42,000 solar projects representing 296 gigawatts of cumulative capacity, with 23.4 gigawatt slash peak, GWP, operational. Gigawatt peak, that means like, hey, peak sunlight, this is the most power we're generating. And it goes down after, I imagine what that means, gigawatts peak, unless you're just measuring the peak, which is it's a sine wave like that, and there's peaks. There's peak here and there's a peak there. Peak up here, peak there. The total power would be peak to peak, right? Peak power would be half of that. That's the way I read peak. Okay. According to the Van Zulen, for the first time, the Africa Solar Outlook 2026 supplements this approach to the top-down approach, also taking into account solar export data from China, compiled by think tank Energy Energy think tank Ember, as China accounts for roughly 90% of global solar module exports. This data set provides a robust proxy for estimating installed capacity, may not be formally documented. Man, China's kicking our ass in solar production. Just wanted to point that out. And let's have us a metaphor. We could actually let's do one more paragraph. Let's call out the countries that are leading it instead of just saying Africa and just running into the woods, letting everybody figure out what the hell he means by Africa. And 2025 leading performance by solar capacity per capita included South Africa, Seychelles, Mauritius, Namibia, and Cape Verde, while countries such as Chad, Comoros, Equatorial Guinea, and Botswana recorded the strongest upward movements year on year. So those are your countries making it happen. Botswana, one of your finer countries in Africa with a lot of wildlife. They got all the big animals there, along with Namibia.
Is that what makes them fine, because they have animals?
No, because they have a government that's willing to spend on solar and take care of their citizens, and they're taking care of their animals instead of slaughtering them like a lot of.
Did you say Nigeria?
They slaughter them. What?
Did you mention Nigeria at all in this? Disappointing.
No, Nigeria's got their problems.
Yeah, Nigeria is the largest growing industry or whatever business sector. And I don't
know why. I don't know if they consider Egypt part of Africa, but
it's North Africa, technically.
Yeah, it is. It's part of the continent. I don't know if they consider it African because it's more or less like whatever. I don't know what the hell you call it, but
yeah. The Mediterranean, obviously. I don't know.
Yeah, they're Mediterranean, but I think Egypt should be one of the biggest solar producers myself. But that's just me because it's a big damn country. What about Ethiopia? Oh, come on, guys, get your shit together. Right. Anyway.
I guess it's harder to actually make the solar panels or buy the solar panels to actually capture and the batteries. Sadly,
there's not enough money to be made, or somebody would be doing it already, right?
I guess Nigeria just isn't the sharpest bulb in the box.
That's your mixed metaphor, I guess. Whoa.
Because we're talking about solar energy, so light bulb. I don't know. You need a box to store the energy in.
Okay, that's enough of that. Next spin, I guess.
Yeah, let's go to our next spin. For my next good news. Also featuring my Black History Month news. It's a limerick. All right, get your pen and paper out. The story is coming out of... Where am I? One of these stories. Ah, yes. A big celebration for Austria in the Winter Olympics. This is by Ben Church. This is also my daily Olympics mention, since the Winter Olympics are happening right now. On CNN, Austrian snowboarder Benjamin Karl knew exactly what he would do if he won a gold medal at this year's Winter Olympics. What he hadn't planned was for the reaction from the rest of the world. After retaining his parallel giant slalom crown and leaving on Sunday, the 8th of February, the 40-year-old, that's right, a 40-year-old, celebrated by ripping off his top, baring his chest to the frenzied crowd before flexing his muscles and dropping face down in the snow.
I actually saw this live.
That's such a snowboarder thing to do as well. The impassioned celebration was quickly clipped and shared across social media, with thousands enjoying what initially looked like the release of unbridled, unrehearsed joy. And while Karl was absolutely over the moon with his gold medal moment, the reaction was very much planned as a tribute to his hero, Hermann Maier. And then there's some images of him
Hermann
just
Maier.
face down in the snow.
Downhill skier, Hermann Maier, I know what he is.
The skiing legend was one of the reasons that Karl got into the sport, and he would often celebrate his victories by ripping off his top. It was 25 years in my mind when I saw Hermann Maier in the 2001 ripping off his shirt after winning the overall World Cup, Karl told CNN Sports on Monday, the 9th of February. He was my one and only idol, and I waited my whole career for the right moment to do it in tribute to him. Karl can now call himself a 4-time Olympic medalist, having already won gold in the same event back in 2022 and silver in his Olympic debut in 2010 in Vancouver. He also claimed a bronze medal in the parallel slalom at Sochi in 2014. After his latest win, in his 5th games, he became the oldest Olympic snowboard medalist ever, and Austria's oldest winter medalist in any sport. Out of all his medals, though, the first gold in Beijing stands out as the most special, allowing him to have fun in Milan and Cortina. The first medal is always super special, Karl said. When I was 10, I was writing on a sheet my goals for life. I wanted to be the fastest snowboarder on earth, a world champion and an Olympic champion, and when you reach the goal for the first time, it's always the best moment. But for my legacy, the second gold medal is really important. Not that I had that in my mind. I just had so much fun. It was just a fun day out, carving down the mountain through gates. It was a perfect day. Karl said he let himself enjoy his gold medal win for a brief moment on the 8th of February, but assured CNN Sports that he was in bed by midnight and already focusing on the remaining World Cup season. That's right, there's still more snowboarding for him to do. The Olympics was just the start. The Austrian credits his love for snowboarding to his mother, who he said got him into the world of winter sports, but while snowboarding became his life, his first love was skiing, with Karl saying he could ski before he could even talk. But after he found snowboarding at 10, the goal of becoming an Olympian was set. Olympics are, for sure, the greatest event for any sportsman, he said. We have one chance every 4 years. One day and in 4 years, you're not allowed to be ill or injured. You have to be ready on this day. That I made 4 medals and 6 chances in my Olympic life, 6 days out of a 20-year career, is just amazing. And also, like I said, at 40 years old, still snowboarding. It's not exactly the, it's not exactly dressage or something, Snowboarding is pretty rough on the body. So, as is skiing, to be fair. Very impressive. How much more time do you need?
Just a minute or so.
What else can I talk about? Well, there's some gaslighting news I don't want to talk about. That's not very happy.
I wanted to get it right.
Be more good
here we
news
go.
about this.
My limerick.
You have your limerick? Okay.
Yes, I do that. A snowboarding medal on the slopes. Austrian wins and dashes others' hopes. He took off his coat, and shirtless he did gloat, to honor Hermann Maier and to tease the jealous dopes. Jealous dope. Kind of a mean-spirited thing, if you ask me. I won, I'm special. Yeah, okay, cool. I know. Most people are thinking.
Let me see you go on a snowboard. Have you ever even gone winter sporting? I've never done it myself.
I've been skiing. I skied down exactly one half of a snow hill and took my skis off, walked to the woods and walked down and drank the rest of the day because that's a dangerous damn sport. I wasn't worried about hurting myself.
Yeah.
I was worried about all the little kids in the bunny hill. I just started in the bunny hill. I'd never been skiing before. So I just started
if
in
you
the bunny
landed
hill,
on a
which
kid,
is
you'd smash
flammable.
him, yeah.
I mean, only 25 years old on the bunny hill. Everybody else is 8. And and they're learning to ski, like legitimately. Some of them are 5, 4, and they're skiing better than me. They're like swoosh, 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 and they're yelling at me as they swoosh by. Hey, mister, you need to snowplow. No, fuck that. I walk to the woods. I don't need to be humiliated. Like
I'm just gonna get a sled and sled down the hill, okay? Whee!
Again, when you're in a situation I was in, which was you're in the Marine Corps, you don't want to break your leg, right? That's kind of cool to break your leg. They might just kick you out for that.
But
you never know.
I mean, it's not going to be an honorable dismissal because you broke your leg skiing and you're not in the winter.
Well, it's honorable. It's honorable. They're not going to punish you for it. They're just going to say you're a medical and they're going to discharge you. Who knows what they?
That's the end of your career.
Really don't want a compound fracture. I don't want a compound fracture anyway. Thank you. You see what Lindsey Vonn did? Lindsey Vonn, the biggest champion female skier in history. You see what happened to her, right? She had
I don't want to mention that, but she did break her leg, and she said she has no regrets. So, but you have to have no regrets for skiing and snowboarding down a mountain. I'm sorry.
All the way back from tearing her ACL to fucking crash in the Olympics and being, her big Olympic story is going to the hospital now. I'm like, okay, whatever. Yeah, not my sport. Sorry.
It's definitely one of the more extreme sports out there. My next story.
Just to participate, you got to be rich. You got to be rich just to participate. Ski lift fees are they're ridiculous now. They used to be nothing. Now they're stupid. They're just stupid. Ski lift.
My next story is going to be a Black History News story, and we're going to be talking about somebody who sadly has passed away in 2020. But I saw that I think either their birthday or the day they became the first woman ordained as an Anglican bishop is coming up on this day in history. I think it's on the 11th, actually. I was scrolling through on this day to find people to talk about, but we're going to talk about her today because she did do a lot of good in her life, a lot of positive change, and of course the change in all, being the first woman to be ordained as a bishop in the Anglican Church. I just lost her name Barbara Harris. This is originally from March 21st, 2020. I think that's she died on March 13th, so this is probably the same week obituary for her. The Reverend Barbara C. Harris, who was the first woman to be ordained as a bishop in the Episcopal... we said it earlier, now I can't say it at all. The Episcopal Church of the United States, indeed, in its parent body, the Worldwide Anglican Communion, an event that caused a furor among conservatives, died in Lincoln, Massachusetts, outside Boston on March 13th, 2020, and she was 89. Her death at a hospice was confirmed by the Bishop of Diocese of Massachusetts. He did not give a cause. Being 89, I think, is probably the cause. Harris served as a suffragan, an assistant bishop of the Massachusetts Diocese from 1989 until her retirement in 2002. And in some ways, she was an unlikely candidate for the role. She had neither a bachelor's nor a seminary degree, and she was divorced, a profile that some critics said made her unfit for election. I'm sorry, the Anglican Church? The church that was invented so you could divorce? I don't think you're allowed to say that. Wait a minute. Our king can get divorced. That's why he made this. But other people, they can't. Regardless of gender, it didn't matter that she was a divorced woman. Is the fact that she was divorced. Whatever. Hypocritical religion strikes again. But that's not the point. Others feared that she was too progressive for the church because she was a woman, I assume. An African American, she went on to challenge the episcopal hierarchy to open its door wider to women as well as black and gay people. That's right, except the gays. Her election in 1988 caused turmoil both in the church and in the Anglican Communion, an international family of 46 autonomous churches that include the Church of Ireland. Oh, that's right, I'm reporting this from the Irish Times, so that's why we're talking about Ireland. Some Episcopalians objected to her political views and theological stances, declared that they would not recognize her position and campaign against her. She even faced death threats that's very Christian of you, for her consecration as bishop in 1989 at the Heinz Convention Center in Boston. Police offered her a bulletproof vest to wear. Harris declined. God will protect me. That's not what she said, but I'm sure she said something like that. Years later, in 2002, interview with National Visionary Leadership Project, she shrugged off the furor. Nobody can hate like Christians, she said. She would know. She often criticized the church as being too dogmatic, as worrying over the particulars of canon law instead of preaching inclusivity, a true reflection of the Christ teaching she believed. In a church whose parishioners have included about a quarter of American presidents and business titans such as J.P. Morgan and Henry Ford, Harris pressed for the integration of historically segregated parishes. She was an early member of the Union of Black Episcopalians, founded in 1968, and called for a greater number of women in the clergy. In 2003, she supported the election of Bishop Gene Robinson, the first openly gay bishop in the church. His election dramatically widened a long-standing divide between the theological liberals and the conservatives at a time when the church was seeing Sunday attendance drop by 23% from 2000 to 2010. In 2009, conservatives who felt alienated from the church, chiefly over the ordination of gay people, founded a small rival denomination, the Anglican Church in North America. The Episcopal Church was led by a woman, the Reverend Catherine Jefferts Scory, until 2015, when Michael B. Curie became the church's first African-American presiding bishop. She was the first any bishop, but he was the first actual head bishop. A majority of the communion's member churches now ordain women as well. But in 1976, when the Episcopal Church decided to ordain women, it was only the third member of the church to do so. The Church of England did not allow women to become priests until 1992. Wow! Typical America, doing something before the country they are influenced by does it, right? Though to be fair, I think the UK did ban slavery before America did. And bishops weren't allowed to be women until 2014 in the Church of England. The move upended centuries of tradition, holding the bishops had to be male because they belonged to an unbroken line of successors of the 12 apostles, all of them men. And those men were popped out of the ground. I love when people are like, well, it's the same family line. You know, the easiest thing to fuck up is the male line of anything, right? Yeah, that's totally my son. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Proof by what? I don't know. I just know he's my son. Okay.
Yeah. DNA.
Whereas women, I'm just saying women, you can't mistake that. That definitely came out of me. There's no mistake there. Several congregations withdrew from the church in part because of the decision to allow women. Because women can't be related to the 12 apostles. Only men can. Sure. Barbara Clementine Harris was born June 12th.
None of the apostles had mothers, apparently.
Yeah, and like I said, they came out of nowhere. They just popped out of the ground, and they didn't have children either, because, I don't know. Barbara Clementine Harris, her original name, was born June 12, 1930 in Philadelphia, the middle of 3 children. Her father, Walter Harris, was a steelworker, and her mother, Beatrice Price Harris, was a church organist. Harris studied the piano, learning to play dozens of hymns by heart. She was survived by her brother as of 2020. I don't know if her brother's still alive. Her sister, Josephine White, predeceased her.
All right.
After graduating from Philadelphia High School for Girls in 1948, Harris studied in advertised journalism and entered public relations. Active in civil rights, she traveled to Mississippi to register voters in 1964, and the next year marched with the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama. That's right, she was in the famous Selma Walk. All the while, she prepared herself for ordination, studying at Villanova University in Sheffield, England. When 3 retired Episcopal bishops at her parish, the Church of Advocate in Philadelphia, ordained 11 women in 1974. 2 years before the church had authorized such an action, Harris was the cross bearer in the procession. Harris was ordained as a priest in 1980, served as St. Augustine of Hippo Church, a small parish in Norristown, Pennsylvania, and was a prison chaplain. She reached a wider audience through her speaking and writing on behalf of racial justice in opposition to the apartheid in South Africa. Like, this woman is on the bestest side of history, 100%. Writing in 1984 in The Witness, an Episcopal journal of which she was publisher, she said the church was wasting its energy debating the ordination of women. Typical of the church and the society reflects to get its adrenaline flowing over non-issues like irregularity versus validity, she wrote, while real issues go unaddressed. Justice, power, authority, shared mission and ministry, and the wholeness in the body of Christ. Exactly. She's out there trying to spread Jesus' message, not some old people who decide what the rules are based on, I don't know, the 12 apostles. There you go. Let's celebrate an amazing woman who did amazing things and made the world a better place, I think. I mean, I wasn't alive, but I'm assuming she did a little kick in it, kick in the world and said, hey, do better.
All right. One word I got to work on here is Episcopalian is the word you were trying to say.
I know, I can't say it. My mouth gets stuck on it. It's not that I don't know how to say it. It's my mouth that goes.
It's not easy to say. I got it. Episcopalian. Yeah, if you see an American, he says, I am not Anglican, I'm Episcopalian. You go, no, you're Anglican. You're Anglican.
That's literally the same thing, dude.
I don't know if they take orders from the king. All right, so here's the limerick. The Anglican Church did once cling to only male priests and bishops and things. Then a divorced woman dark caused dirtbags to bark, but she went on to march with M.L. King.
Love a good limerick.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to your story.
King rhymes. I was going to use king in the first line because, bishops get appointed by the king.
Yeah.
All right, let's have us a spin, and I'll get on to my...
I'll tell you a joke.
My second story. Very short, only one segment story. Live from New York. This is right for jokes because this whole franchise is all about jokes. I wonder if Lorne Michaels gets a say on who gets hired. I wonder if he's franchised this. Let's check it out. It's from BBC.com. Stephen McIntosh. Saturday Night Live UK reveals cast including Anya Magliano, Patty Young, and Emma Seedy. I don't know who they are, but maybe they'll get famous soon. Maybe they're famous in England. I don't know, but it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11 cast members, which is really, yeah. Okay, let's read the sub-headline, I guess is what this is. Subtext. Sitcom actors, Taskmaster contestants, Edinburgh Fringe Festival winners, and familiar panel show faces are among the stars who will appear on the British version of Saturday Night Live. The 6-episode series, which is based on the long-running U.S. variety show, will launch 21 March. Broadcaster Sky has confirmed. 11 up-and-coming names from UK comedy and entertainment circle will feature on the show, including Emma Seedy, Anya Magliano, Larry Dean, Aod Bomboye. I hope that's easier to pronounce than it looks like. And Patty Young. There's a name I can handle. Celeste Dring, Annabelle Marlowe, George Fouracres. I wonder if he owns 4 acres. That would be political justice. Hamed Anna Mashwan, Al Nash, and Jack Shep. Thank you, Jack Shep, for having a really short name. And Al Nash. You guys are my heroes. Complete regular weekly cast. Oh my God. The guy that has to introduce these is going to practice for a while. Like the U.S. version, Saturday Night Live UK will feature celebrity guest hosts every week, as well as a music star who perform live. And let's hope the celebrity guest hosts are like Ricky Gervais and people like that. I would say, our people that are funny British. Jimmy Carr, he's my favorite. My favorite don't give a fuck British comedian is Jimmy Carr. And a press release, Sky said the show would be reimagined through a distinctive British lens, adding the writers for the series will be announced soon. Lead producer Jim Longman said the UK is absolutely packed with incredible comedy talent right now, and his cast represents the freshest voices we have. They're bold, they're exciting, of course, incredibly funny. The chemistry between them is something special, and we can't wait to share this funny group with people of the world. That's a hell of a promo. Saturday Night Live UK will be the first British incarnation of NBC's late night comedy show, which has been running since 1975. It was created by Lorne Michaels, and that answers my question. He's going to serve as executive producer of the UK spinoff. Lorne Michaels getting that cash rolling in his late years. And keeping up with the U.S. counterpart, Saturday Night Live UK will be written and rehearsed the week of each show performed live in front of each studio audience. Episodes traditionally feature an opening monologue as well as topical sketches, live music, and satire of the week's news called Weekend Update. Sky said the show arrival would end the long wait for UK audience to hear a new spin on the famous line, "Live from London, it's Saturday night." And there's a picture of some of the people. Do you want to hear their biographies? You can cut this off now. We can do their biographies. There's 11 of them.
Go for it.
I only got one story, so I might as well. This is a black gentleman. His name is Ahmed Adamashan from East London, is known for BBC comedy series Black Ops, while his stage credits include the Bridge Theatre's production of Midsummer Night's Dream. Dude, I saw that in London at the Globe Theatre. It was an entire black female cast. It was hilarious because they hauled some dopey-looking white guy in a jeans and a t-shirt up there to make fun of him. It was great. And I only got through it midway through it, but I got in for free, so that was the best part. I think of myself as an actor first and foremost, he said, and I've done a lot of theater. This is my first love, so I feel very much at home on stage performing live. Transferring the experience over to live comedy is something I'm really excited for. Another person of color, Charlotte Rutherford, hailing from Lagos in London. Charlotte, it says Charlotte Rutherford, but now here it says her name is, that's the name of the person that took the picture. Sorry. They put the picture credit under the picture. Okay. Ayode Bamboye, let's say that one, hailing from Lagos in London, is known for her Edinburgh Fringe show, Swings and Roundabouts, for which she won the festival's Best Newcomer Prize, and as well as Channel 4's Comedy Rise and Shine with Channel 9. I was in advertising, she said. My journey in comedy since then has been such a series of blessings and serendipitous moments. Referring to Saturday Night Live, she said, there's no better training ground. I may be 3 or 4 years in a comedy, and it feels like a perfect place to accelerate my learning. Larry Dean is the guy. Here's the white guy. Wait, he's your Scottish guy. Get some Scottish flavor. Born in Glasgow, Dean's stand-up credits include performances on Live at the Apollo, Royal Variety Performance. There have been so many people that have appeared on Saturday Night Live, either as hosts or part of the cast, or comedy heroes like Jim Carrey, Richard Pryor, Mike Myers, Dana Carvey. It's always been my dream to do acting and stand-ups. This is exactly what I want to do. The next cast member, Celeste Dring. Wolverhampton-born Dring is known for BBC comedies as Lazy Susan in this country. She appeared as a recurring character, Kylie Hudson. I've done a lot more serious plays at uni, that means university, but I was always a lover of comedy and decided to give it a crack after I left. Freya Parker and I started performing as a doubles act, Lazy Susan, going for Edinburgh Fringe and doing shows there, and from there, own radio show, eventually sketch comedy show on TV. Our next cast member is George Fouracres. I don't know if he owns the Fouracres. Another cast member from Wolverhampton. Fouracres appeared in recent Netflix drama film Steve and appeared in a production of Hamlet at Shakespeare's Globe. I haven't seen Hamlet there, but I have been there. Yay, I've been to the Globe. I'm going to mention that again. I've been in love with Saturday Night Live since forever. Seeing clips of SNL in the U.S., I've always thought, I wish I had that. Why don't we have something like that? You had Monty Python, but she wasn't around for that, unfortunately. And plus, Monty Python wasn't live. Not even close. They couldn't do that live. Hailing from Buckinghamshire and calling Ross from Friends as their comedy hero, Magliano is best known for appearances on Taskmaster and Live at the Apollo. I love performing stand-up and the chance to work collaboratively, there's the word for me, I can't say, And other amazing comedians was a huge draw for me, she said. And honestly, being part of SNL UK is incredibly cool. Annabelle Marlowe. She's a blonde and she's got her mouth open. She's going like that. Annabelle Marlowe, whose hometown is Henley-on-Thames, has previously appeared on Six the Musical and Edinburgh Fringe and Leicester Curiv production of Muriel's Wedding. I am actually an old fan account from 2016. I used to run on social media that was dedicated to be obsessed with Saturday Night Live, Marlowe revealed. SNL combines everything I love. I'm excited to create characters, hopefully write some music as well. Our next character is the Chubby Guy. We're going to call him the Chubby Guy, El Nash. El Nash, the Chubby Guy. He might have appeared on Michael McIntyre's Big Show, but Buckinghamshire born Nash jokes that he's also well known for simply being an Instagram heartthrob. Yeah, I can see this guy being ironically, pushing himself out there. That's what comedy's got to do. If you're not that attractive, you got to make yourself comically attractive. I started as the Comedy Society at University of Sussex, which was a birthday sketch group that I wrote and directed multiple Edinburgh Fringe shows for, Nash explained. Then I started performing live myself in 2018 and made online sketches since 2020. Then we go to Jack Shep, who is from Channel 4's Big Boys, is among the screen credits for Bedfordshire's born Shep, as well as appearances at Comedy Night, Wanted to Be Cool, Having to Be Funny. That's pretty funny. Cool name for, is that a, yeah, that's the name of a club. Wanting to be cool, having to be funny. That's kind of a cool name. Anyway, I decided myself, as a comic, rather than stand-up comedian, he reflected, I do a bit of acting and writing too, but basically I'm always doing stupid stuff, which I think makes me prime for SNL. Emma CD. She looks like you. You could pass for her twin. Born in the U.S. but raised in Woking. Born in the U.S. but raised in Woking, I guess is a section of London. I don't know. CD is well known for BBC's Star Trek as well as Alan Partridge Live's Stratagem. I've been doing sketch, character comedy, and improv since university. Said CD, who recently toured a show that saw her play former civil servant Sue Gray. That show is really manifesto of my taste, a bit left field and very cheeky. Next person is Paddy Young. I hope he's Irish with a name like Paddy. Young, and hope he's from Scarborough. Well, he might be Irish ancestry. Is known for his appearances in Channel 4 series Everyone Else Burns and Mitchell and Webb Are Not Helping. Saturday Night Live UK feels like the most exciting thing that's happened in our comedy in our country for a long time, even more than Reels. I guess that's another British show referring to Instagram. Oh, and referring to Instagram short film video. Really? Reels is the biggest thing in the UK? That must be a joke, right? Yeah, he joked. Hey, the scale of it
whenever
is
a British
quacker.
person says something, you have to assume it's sarcastic. That's what I do. That's the safest thing.
It's like Reels. He's talking about the Facebook shit. Well, he calls it Instagram, but it's Facebook, Instagram, same thing. The scale of its quackers: 11 in the cast, 18 writers, and catering is world class. Catering is world class. There you go. That's pretty funny. All right, that's our story. Our 11 new cast members for SNL. Let's have a joke about jokes.
All right, I've got two British jokes. I couldn't really find like specific jokes on this particular thing, right? And I'm not a comedian. So my first joke is, Brits prefer brooms over vacuum cleaners when it comes to cleaning their floors. But that might be a sweeping generalization. And the less cool joke is, why is England the wettest country?
Rains all the time?
Because so many kings and queens have been reigning there.
Oh no!
That's a bad one. That's a bad one. Well, it's not that funny.
Okay, then. It's really funny. That's
But there we go. We have
No,
our
I'm
jokes.
not kidding
We
you.
have-
That one of the last ones there, one of the pictures looked like you. The one, her last name, I can go back to the story, but if you look up the cast, you see like, hey, it looks like you. You could pass, you could probably stand in for it.
UK SNL cast.
The one from her last name is Seedy, I think. Is Seedy? Is that the one? I can just go back
My
to history
goodness.
and find it. I closed
I'm
it
sure.
already.
The last name has a C in it. Seedy?
Hold on.
Emma Seedy?
Hold on a second, man. I think so. I think it was Seedy. SIDI.
She looks too white to me. Doesn't have my mom's features.
Are you looking at the BBC story?
Yes, I'm looking at the BBC story with the pictures.
Well, scroll down to her picture where she's featured.
I'm
not the
looking
one
at
with
it.
the
I
top.
think she's more
You don't
white
think she
than
looks
me.
like you? Well, that's a skin color. I'm talking about. She looks like you.
No, I mean her features are more European than my features.
Pass her up.
She's got a different nose, a different
Yeah,
eyes.
she has more of a
I guess
European
her eyebrows
nose.
aren't
She
helping. I
has
have different eyebrows. Her
is your
forehead
chin's
isn't
about the
as
same,
forehead
I
as
think.
my
Your
forehead
eyebrows
is.
are different.
Anyways.
Well, my cursory look, she looked a lot like you. I was just giving a general feature
Maybe if I
description so you
was
know the cast members look like.
more British. Yeah, maybe if I was more British, I'd look like that. Did we roll my
I'm
segue
pissed they ain't
wheel?
got a token. How do they have
Mixed
token
metaphor.
Africans? How do they have token Africans and no token Irish though? That's a sad part, right? I would say if I was Irish, I'd be like, how does nobody Irish? Hey, no Irish. We are ignoring an Irish, yeah, bastards. Anyway.
Our next segue is going to be a mixed metaphor, and we're going to take it over to my culture news.
Mixed metaphor.
This is news coming out of The Guardian about, are you doom scrolling too much? Well, this person,
For sure.
which I forget their name, might have a solution to doom scrolling so you don't think the world is gonna end tomorrow, because that's all doom scrolling does. It makes you feel like, what's the point? Let me go be nihilistic and not care about anything. This is from Michael Roberts on The Guardian. Trading social media
this
for
weekend,
Pokemon
man.
battles
Yeah.
and evolutions in Kanto on a Game Boy Advance has been surprisingly serene. Cutting back on doom scrolling must be one of the hardest New Year resolutions to keep. Instinctively tapping on the usual suspects on your phone's home screen becomes a reflex. That's why I put all of those apps in a folder, so I have to open the folder first to click on the app. I don't just click one button. Anyways, and vast quantities of money and user data has been specifically employed to keep you reaching for the phone, ingraining it into your work, leisure, and social lives. You'll get no shame from Michael if you love your phone and have a healthy relationship with your apps. But he's found it quite a struggle lately. This year, they're attempting to cut back on screen time, sort of. Replacing the sleek oblong of the smartphone with something a little more fuzzy and nostalgic. In an attempt to dismantle the bad habit, Michael's closing the feeds of instant updates and instead carrying around a Game Boy Advance. He's been playing Pokemon Fire Red, a remake of the first Pokemon games, which turned 30 this month. Even this refreshed version is more than 2 decades old. Improving your digital well-being doesn't necessarily mean cutting out screen time completely. Not all screens are created equal. I mean, just look at film, right? Film is a way different experience than doom scrolling. Michael is hoping that swapping one screen for another isn't like Indiana Jones switching out the golden idol with a big bag of sand, only for the booby-trap boulder to crush you all the same. He's not played Pokemon since 2006 Pokemon Diamond on the Nintendo DS, which was the introduction to the franchise. He dabbed into some Pokemon Black on the DS and Pokemon Legends Arceus on the Nintendo Switch, but neither stuck. I really liked Legends Arceus, actually. I wish they made more games like that. Convinced he'd let himself play through one more Pokemon game, he pretty much ended up playing them all. But as Hollywood had profitably realized, 20 years is a long enough gap for something to feel fresh again. The first steps in Pokemon were taking in the Sinnoh region, so the prospects of visiting the Kanto region for the first game and catching the original 151 Pokemon felt exciting. But he couldn't just bring himself to start playing the original Red or Blue on a chunky old Game Boy. They don't even have a lit up backlight. right? You have to play that in a lit room.
Whoa! That's crazy.
Yeah, so he tried to embrace a more analog existence, but gaming without color is not his line of sand. Fire Red's positive effects on his life arrived unexpectedly quickly. It only took a couple of hours of Michael's exploration encounters with wild Pokemon to make him forget all about his phone. It was sat right next to him, but it was no longer calling him like Gollum's ring. Usually, his device would find a way into his hand, loading breaks or elaborate cutscenes on narrative-heavy and beautiful modern PlayStation games. Perhaps there's something magical about Fire Red's more free-form approach to story and less overstimulating retro graphics. Maybe those gaps left by implied details in the design and dialogue leave space for his imagination, which the doom-scrolling habit had nearly atrophied. The world of Pokemon is serene and charming, despite constant trainer battles and a grueling gym leader face-off. Even those are quite low stakes. Well, except for Koga. I had a tough time with Koga when I was playing the game for the first time. A gaming experience hasn't offered this much tranquility to Michael since Animal Crossing. Try as he might, though, even Tom Nook can't patent escapism. Curiously, the adventure, though fresh for him, feels nostalgic. He never played with a team solely made up of monsters from the original Pokédex, yet somehow he was transported back to the late 90s when it seemed like the world was going Poké-mad. He named his rival after one of his childhood best friends. That's what you always do. You name your rival after your sibling or your best friends, and haha. Or you name them Stinky Butt or something. All those years later, it's so satisfying to finally thoroughly embrace the canon. Pokemon is hardly a counterculture. It's the highest selling thing in the globe. The culturalistly of cultured. It's the most profitable video game franchise in history. Pokemon is gearing up for a 30th anniversary year with a McDonald's Happy Meal promotion, a new theme park, a partnership with the Natural History Museum, and a Uniqlo line among much else. So, if anything, it feels more zeitgeisty and omnipresent than it has in years. And yet, it does feel rebellious to pick up an old Game Boy instead of his phone, because you could definitely play this game on your phone. It's somehow unruly to take myself offline just for a bit, just to have fun with a retro game. I'm able to enjoy technology on my own terms. I'm not coerced into microtransactions. I'm not relying on the latest oh-so-essential firmware update. I'm not endlessly instructed to like, comment, subscribe for more. Filling the natural breaks in Michael's day with an old video game has done to him a world of good, even if it's evolving a Psyduck while dinner is on the oven or taking down a gym leader while waiting for a package. His phone screen time is already down by 3 hours a week since beginning this adventure. In a small way, it's helping to stop comparing himself with others and being able to tackle some existential dread that doom scrolling seems to encourage. Playing Pokemon Fire Red in 26 is utterly nourishing and wonderfully low stakes compared to the social media ecosystem where everything is trying to appear equally urgent and meaningful. If you're trying to combat overthinking, insecurity, or exhaustion by committing to a Herculean task of using your phone less, take a quick trip to Kanto region or another resolutely offline game world. That's his advice for your doom scrolling to get your life better. I have to agree with that, honestly, because the thing about a game made in the 90s or even the early 2000s, it was made, box, perfect, the end. No updates, no DLC, no added anything, right? No pop-ups, just here's the game, play it, get out of my face. That's the most old games are like that in that way. So there's your
I like that
inspiration.
I like that feature of games. I also like that feature of movies and music.
Yeah.
Somebody else doesn't own it. Somebody else doesn't own it, and they can take it away from me anytime. I don't have to pay a subscription. I freaking own it.
You physically have the disc.
Yeah, the digital shit is wearing off on me consistently because, again, Amazon, fuck them. Right? Fuck them. I mean, fuck, not necessarily Amazon the thing, but just Jeff Bezos. Why you gotta be such an asshole, right? Mm-hmm. We had a good relationship one time, and now you're an asshole, Jeff. Anyway, so that was my tangent. Okay, man, mixed metaphor. If we're ready for that.
Yep, I'm ready.
Doom scrolling is like a diet of junk food for your mind that not only has an unpleasant aftertaste, but it gives you diarrhea. So, in other words, you're on the toilet all day doom scrolling. I've been here
and then
since
your legs go numb, and then you can't get off the toilet because you have to walk with numb legs.
And your phone battery dies before you get off the damn throne.
And as we discovered, what was it, last year sometime, doom scrolling actually does cause brain rot. It actually does cause your brain neurons to die.
Oh,
so
good Lord.
If you're that desperate, this might be the solution, right? Go on eBay or somewhere they sell cheap stuff and find Game Boy Advance and find a game and put it in there and play that, whatever that game is.
And don't worry, the algorithm will help you doom scrolling by linking you to the worst possible stuff, right? It's never going to be anything good. It's going to be, oh my God, you got them hooked on that. Let's do that. And you're looking at some stupid, 18-minute video about how they castrate horses or something. I'm like, oh wow, that's how they do it? No. Doom scrolling is definitely bad. It's a worm. It's a worm in your brain. It's not going, it's just cycling through the bullshit. That's all it's doing. You're not learning a damn thing. Except, and then there's the people that doom scroll to, confirm their own biases. Oh, that guy thinks just like me. I block people that think just like me, and you know why? Even though I might even like their content, I hate their thumbnail clickbait. I click on their video, they talk for 15 minutes, and they don't say anything, right? Nothing to do with what I clicked on there for at all. So I'm done following you anymore. Right? Bye. Goodbye. You lied to me. I don't care what your content is. You're a liar. Bye. I don't get why those people get subscribers for lying to their viewers.
You do realize you're the same person who said put free beer as their titles for our videos, which is clickbait.
I didn't say exactly. I didn't say I was going to unilaterally disarm. My neighbor has a cannon. I'm getting a cannon too, right? I mean, come on.
Our next segue is going to be an alliteration headline for this day in history.
That ought to be easy. Because this day is February the 10th. Damn, we're in double digits already in February as we swim along in this nightmare we call the 20s. It's bad. Let's think about it. The 20s have been kind of a nightmare. Started with a virus, the 20s. Yep. Don't forget that. Anyway, February 10th, we're going to go all the way back. I see a picture of Mark Spitz. I wonder what that's there for, because there's no Summer Olympics going on. Maybe he died this day. I don't know. Let's get back to it. 1763, the Treaty of Paris was signed. We don't know what that is. It ended the 7 Years' War. One of the few 7 Years' Wars. There were about 8 or 9 of them. Between France and Britain, the North American phase, which was called the French and Indian War. So it had two different names. The French and Indian War was the British fought against the French, and they used the Indians to help them beat the French, which is
the Native American Indians, by the way, not India. There might have been Indians in the army too, from India at the time.
The one example of this I can give you is George Washington, when he was working in the British Army. He was a British Army officer. Took a bunch of Indians with him. I think they were Mohicans. To I think it's Indiana to meet with the French in some kind of diplomatic mission. A diplomatic mission, meaning we're going to talk about the terms of whatever, in this war we're on. Anyway, the Indians who went with George Washington just killed all the French. Just killed them all. Fuck this diplomatic shit. We don't know what this is. They're the enemy. We're killing them.
They both had different Native American tribes fighting for them. It was both the French and the British were using mercenaries, basically.
I'm saying I think the British had more, right? And they had more of the warrior types.
Yeah.
And these few were the warrior types, to be sure, because they wiped out the French. Anyway, let's go to the next story. 1837, Russian author Alexander Pushkin was killed in a duel defending his wife's honor. 1846, the British conquered the Sikh army in northwestern India in the Battle of Sabran, the most decisive engagement of the First Sikh War. 1898, poet and playwright Bertolt Brecht. I only know one. I know maybe a couple of Bertolt Brecht songs, but the one I know is the one the Doors covered. The Alabama song, if you know that song or not. Poet and playwright Bertolt Brecht, whose epic theater departed from the conventions of theatrical illusion and development of the drama as a social and ideological form of the leftist causes. Well, it's his birthday. Happy birthday to Bertolt Brecht, who was born in Augsburg, Germany, on this date, 1898. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. That's a Bertolt Brecht song that the Doors excavated from obscurity in the 1960s. 1939, the American film classic Stagecoach, widely considered to be the first adult Western, had its world premiere, one of the director John Ford's defining movies. It also elevated John Wayne to stardom. Way to go, John Wayne, where he plays a hero in movies, but he was kind of a coward in real life. 1757, American author Laura Ingalls Wilder, super popular. Anyway, she died at the age of 90. She wrote Little House on the Prairie, if you ever saw that movie. She wrote all these original books. She was one of those Christian nationalists, unfortunately, for her. You know, kind of a clouded history. Oh, why it'd be so much better if everybody was white and Christian. One of those people. Ugh. Makes my blood boil thinking about it. Like, why do I have to follow your invisible man? I can have my own, can't I? I can have my own invisible man, can't I? No, you can't. You must have my invisible man. Ugh. It's just, every day I wake up in this country thinking there's people out there that think that's a thing I gotta do. That's been my whole life. Why is that a thing I gotta do? First time I heard about it, like as a kid. Really? People do this? People believe this? Really? I never got a rational explanation why people believe this other than they were told to. Anyway, 1962, Francis Powers, the U.S. pilot who shot down the U-2 incident. We still fly U-2s, by the way. They fly really, really high and take pictures. Was captured by the Soviet Union. Anyway, he was exchanged for jailed Soviet informant Rudolf Abel. Oh, Soviet informant? Does that mean they executed him? I don't know. 1990, the spacecraft Galileo flew past Venus on its way to Jupiter. That was 36 years ago, so happy anniversary to Galileo. Made it to Jupiter, flew by a bunch of planets on its way to outer space. I wonder if it's still in our solar system. We'll check on Galileo later, maybe. 2005, Arthur Miller died at the age of 89. He's recognized one of the most important playwrights. He wrote Death of a Salesman. Perhaps his best known. It won a Pulitzer Prize. His Death of a Salesman is the one after that was Head Cold of a Salesman. And the one before that was the Slight Ticklish Throat of the Salesman. So the whole series, it was a trilogy. Just joking.
Don't remember those ones at all.
No, it didn't sell so well. They were looking forward to that final climatic, you know. In 2014, Shirley Temple passed away at 85. She went from being a curly-haired Depression-era starlet from 1935 to 1939. Then she got old, and that was the end of her movie career. She became a United States ambassador later in her life.
Really?
So she just fade into the background, yeah. Shirley Temple Black. I think Reagan appointed her. Of course, Reagan only knew movie stars, right?
That's true. Same reason Trump only knows con artists, or only hires con artists, because he only knows con artists.
And pedophiles, which are kind of it's a Venn diagram that's almost a circle, right?
There's definitely a perfect circle.
Con artists and pedophiles, kind of the same group. They all got candy in their van. Let's put it that way, in different metaphorical senses. Anyway, that was our last item on more events. Shirley Temple died in 2014. Our featured event was Queen Victoria marries Prince Albert. I was just getting up to this part of the Queen Victoria series movie. They didn't spoil it for me. I knew she married Prince Albert because Prince Albert's quite famous for one of your famous prank calls, because Prince Albert was a brand of, it might still be Prince Albert sardines, right? people would call up the supermarket and say, "Hey, do you have Prince Albert in a can?" And they would say, "Yeah, we do." I said, "Well, you better let him out." Anyway, the Prince Albert in a can joke never got old. It still hasn't got old. To me, it's funny. But I'm old. So on this day in 1840, Queen Victoria, at the age of like 19, 18, married Prince Albert, who was a Russian. While most royal weddings of the era were private, small affairs, Victoria, in a bid to improve her popularity, arranged a lavish marriage with her 300 people in attendance. Her dress was a simple white satin dress. On an 18-foot-long train that day, Victoria began two long-standing traditions. One of brides wearing white dresses. She was likely a virgin. And two, British royals marrying highly publicized ceremonies. Another tradition that she observed that day, she married her first cousin. And all of her children had hemophilia. Way to go! First cousin marriages, yeah. So, yeah.
There's a reason we don't do that stuff.
That's right. That's why Prince Philip is also related to both of them, and Queen Elizabeth. They were also related. So, yeah. Prince Philip was Russian aristocracy. He was related to him. Mark Spitz is our feature biography. He was born February 10th. He's still alive, I guess. He was born February 10th in 1950. He's turning 76 today. National Day today, so he can finish the show. National Flannel Day. Safer Internet Day. That goes with what we were talking about just a minute ago. Be safe on the internet. Just get off the internet, for that matter. After this show is over, there's no reason to be on the internet anyway.
You can watch these YouTube videos on VLC Player. You don't even need to go on YouTube. Get the URL.
Right on!
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. As long as there's some way it funnels us money somehow, that'd be hopeful. National Home Warranty Day. Just being honest. I mean, what the hell? I mean, giving this shit away for free. National Home Warranty Day, February 10th. And National Cream Cheese Brownie Day. I don't know if that's cream cheese in it. It's probably good. And National Umbrella Day. So I don't know. National Umbrella Day is when most of the northern hemisphere is frozen. We'll have that, I guess. I don't know. So those are your days, everything for today. Your limericks, your mispronunciations. I'm about to have us a alliteration headline for Good Tuesday News Day, February 10th, 2026. On before cream cheese brownies. Good
I'm
Lord.
like, where's the cream cheese going exactly in that? I'm kind of confused about. Is it in the middle?
I'm sure
is on top?
It's similar. I think it's very similar to chocolate cheesecake, right? Except,
okay.
I don't know. Just have some chocolate cheesecake. It's gonna taste the same. Anyway, there's your. There's probably just a few more solids in brownies, right? A little bit more flour, perhaps. All right, maybe a little bit more evaporated milk, something like that. Sweetened evaporated condensed milk. That's it. Something like that. Something to give it the body when that water evaporates.
Maybe.
Which milk does. Milk creates
cream
a film. We used that
cheese
before.
Brownies.
You're gonna make them now.
It's just I guess it's not an appetizing name either. I don't know why.
Sounds great to me.
Okay, my first alliteration is Victorious vows. Victoria, or Albert's affection authentically ablaze. There you go. There's
affection, huh?
I'm assuming you have to have some affection to marry your first cousin.
Most of
Rich,
these royal
spectacular
marriages are
stroke
like
set swimming stage. And finally, decadently dense desires. I don't know. I don't know if brownies aren't usually dense, but decadently dense desires. Brownies beckon beloved bakers, blissful bliss, blissful bites. I'm doing my best, guys. I'm doing my best. Let me see if there are international UN days today. First, we have World Pulses Day, specifically from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. What is World Pulses Day? Building on the success of International Year of Pulses in 2016, we present a unique opportunity to raise public awareness about pulses and the fundamental role they play in transforming to a more efficient, inclusive, and resilient, sustainable agri-food system for better production, better nutrition, better environment, and a better life. What the hell is the pulse? The pulse of, okay, I think what it means by pulses, it means like, these are things that grow in a place and they're vital for good health and they're always there. It's usually beans. Some sort of bean, right? Like the pulse of Lebanon is the white bean.
A legume is the secret to success.
They provide
That's what they say. Cool beans. Cool beans,
exactly. So it's all about beans. I don't know. I guess pulse is another word for beans, but it's World Bean Day. So eat some beans. Celebrate a very nutritious thing, legume. Next is International Day of Arabian Leopard. Leopard. That is, sorry, I can't spell. I can't read. An Arabian leopard. That's a leopard. I'm tired, okay? Yeah. I woke up at 10 a.m. today. I didn't sleep very long, and I couldn't go back to bed. Leopard, an Arabian leopard. Let's raise awareness for the Arabian leopard, which is a slender-looking leopard compared to like
leopard.
The leopard. Like the American leopard is a bit more thick looking. The Arabian leopard is slender. Almost looks cheetah-like, I would say. It is rapidly disappearing in the Arabic region due to loss of ecosystem and, of course, climate change. So they can weigh up to 18 to 34 kilograms. They can walk for around 2 kilometers overall. Oh, sorry, their length. They're at least 2 meters. 2 meters long.
Okay, there you go.
Or at the most 2 meters long. At least 1,600 meters. 16 centimeters. 1,600 millimeters. 5 feet 3 inches to 6 feet 8 inches. I don't know why they're saying mm instead of just meters.
Millimeters.
Yeah.
Millimeters.
Yeah, I don't know why they're saying millimeters when they could just say meters. 19.2 meters.
Humans a meter.
1.92 meters. High mountains and deep wadis with sufficient prey, permanent water, adequate cover, and freedom from prosecution. That's what they deserve. Okay, so celebrate the Arabian leopard. Okay. This has been Allison here from the Netherlands.
Oh, okay.
Roger from the East Coast of the U.S. as we tie off another Tuesday. Good Tuesday. We will see you tomorrow for Wacky and Weird Wednesday. So please make sure you are subscribed to the Before Coffee podcast channel on YouTube to let YouTube know you like our channel, you like our stories, you like us. We need the positive reinforcement. And we will have some wacky news for you tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. Subscribe.
Apologize for the buzzing. Didn't see any buzzing, so it worked. Yeah, again, just taking care of the technical glitches. That's all. Okay.
We will see you tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. Subscribed, who's following. Turn on those notifications. We're going to live and post a video. And thank you, everyone on Patreon who's supporting the show. Here is our snaily drop moment. Our snaily drop.
Yeah.
Mine is a snaily drop.
Yes. Yeah.
A pea-sized snail once thought to have disappeared has been saved from the edge of extinction.
That's probably how they disappeared. People thought they were buttons.
The greater Bermuda land snail
had
until 2014 when a group was spotted in an alleyway.
Buttons were originally made out of organic material. That's why they were so expensive.
Some were flown to Chester Zoo, where experts spent years building up the population before
they're made of pearls back and stuff.
In 2019.
Yeah. Well, pearls are expensive.
Unique
teeth,
to Bermuda,
not so much.
this type of snail traces its lineage back over 1 million years.
Look at them crawling around, being little buttons.
Ecosystem. Katie Kelton from Chester Zoo is overjoyed and says they have confirmed breeding of the snail on the island.
It's absolutely amazing that we've actually been able to save this species, because it doesn't happen very often. And the fact that we've been able to do it, and we've been able to do it so successfully, and we've got confirmed breeding on the island of these guys and everything, it's just fantastic. It really is touching, because
that could be a tooth.
A lot of people don't give snails enough credit. I mean, they're such a massive part of the ecosystem, and they do a lot for the decomposition of
like
plant
all these creatures
and
that exist for a reason on our planet, and they're not just
often
randomly
overlooked.
strewn
I mean,
around.
I will forever be an advocate for the snail, and it's so nice that we're actually giving these guys attention.
Keep on advocating for the snail, Katie.
Oryx Biodiversity Conservation Journal found that 6
animal that kills the most humans worldwide
had
is a
settled
mosquito.
Successfully on the archipelago.
So don't ignore the
Thanks,
small little
mosquitoes.
ones.
Many threats, including habitat loss, pesticide use, and the cannibalistic
eating that
wolf
squash.
snake.
Killing small children.
So really with breeding it is pretty simple. It's just we need to get the environment right so that they'll do it themselves, basically. So we need to make sure the humidity is right, that they've got the right food, and that the temperature is appropriate for the season that they would breed in.
Save the snails.
After that,
It's not an exaggeration. I know it's a
and they will
joke
start
when
laying eggs in
people
the
say
soil.
that, but
I'm sure people are like, what do you do for a job? I
baby
make sure snails
And once
survive
they
on the
pop out, we need
planet,
to
so
start
I
feeding them a
mean,
little
you're
bit
welcome.
more and make sure that they can survive through those.
What are you doing?
as they say in
I
France,
think the largest population
or as they
we've had
say
in
in
here
France
at
when
one
they
point
see a
was about
snail,
60,000,
bon
which is a lot of snails to look after, which is
right?
So I think those are very
chopping
specific snails.
lettuce,
Probably
sweet
those big
potato,
snails we were
and
talking
carrots,
about at the end of the
lots
story.
and lots of
Nice.
special
Yeah,
supplement food. So we
escargot
make
is
our
quite
own,
good, actually,
as we
so
call it,
I
Bermuda
wouldn't,
powder, which is a mixture of spirulina, calcium,
I wouldn't
and fish
turn it
flake.
down. It's
And so we're going
expensive.
through a lot of food.
I mean, they
when we're
season it,
feeding
right?
these
It's not
guys.
raw.
And it can take a lot of hours worth of
Yeah,
labour,
yeah,
but
it's
it's
a-
a
you
labour
can-
of love, really, because we've managed to actually do
Many
something
different
great
ways
with
to
these
present it,
snails.
I think.
That's
but
amazing
I'm
they've
not
been
an
able
expert.
to-
Snails were rescued in a
them
process
back.
described as a war game, with growing
Really small
numbers
one, there's like
tracked
a
by
little baby
flags
one.
pinned across a map of Bermuda.
Humans eat everything that lives in a shell. That's just who we are. Right?
I mean, they collect a lot of ingredients, you know? They store a lot of energy in there.
That was it for that story about the snails. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.